Okay, guys, welcome back to another video of mine. Again, today is the November 28th, and this topic video will be about reporting tax fraud against your employer. Okay, so this happened to me. I want to share my experience. Uh, it's a difficult topic to talk about and condense because there's a lot of misperceptions I found from other foreigners in China about this issue. So, without telling you what those misperceptions are, I'm just going to tell you what the reality is based on my experience. Number one, let's talk about what is withholding tax. Okay, so um, when you are working for a company, the company takes a portion of your income, of your salary, and they pay this to the government. Okay, this is withholding tax. Okay, how that amount is calculated um, depends. Okay, in Canada, where I'm from, it's 20% flat. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much you make. You can make $1 million a month. Your company could pay you $1 million a month, and they'll just take 20%. Or you can make $42,000, or you can make $4,000 a month, and they'll just take 20%. Okay, every month. But at the end of the year, you may get some money back of the withholding tax of that 20% you paid. So let's say you made less than $42,000 a year in Canada. Um, the government owes you some of that 20% that your company has been taking and paying them. But if you made more than $42,000 a year in Canada, then you owe the government more than the 20% they already got from you. Okay, that's how Canada works. How it works in China, there is a system. I'm honestly not familiar with it. I come from Canada and I worked in finance investment for 4 years, so it's not too unfamiliar with me because we dealt with financial planning and obviously taxes is factored into that. But and I paid taxes in Canada. China, in my experience, something doesn't make sense. But anyway, let's get into it. So here's the situation. Let's say you are working for a company and your contract, your work permit application form where you put your salary that should also match your contract. Let's say all that is reported to the government as 30,000 RMB a month. Okay. Um, Now, in my experience, the withholding tax for this amount of income a month is around 4 to 5,000 withholding tax. So after tax, every month you should receive, 24, 25K salary. Okay? That's like a normal, that's what it should look like, I think. Here's what my situation was. I was getting 30,000 and I was getting after tax 30,000. Like my contract said after tax 30,000. Here's the problem. The company any documentation that they were paying any taxes. They only showed like documentation of like I was paying like 1,000 RMB for social insurance, which is your pension. Um, so what do you do in this situation? You need to go, you go to the local tax bureau. Okay, just type in tax bureau in whatever app you use. I use AppMap. Okay, type in tax bureau. Even in English, it'll pop up. If not, translate the word tax bureau, whatever. Or you can call 123 or call 12345. Usually in Shanghai and Guangzhou and Beijing, there's an English option. You can ask them to help you find your local tax bureau. Take your passport to the local tax bureau and your phone. They'll download the official tax app on your phone and register your account. Okay. Once that's set up, you'll be able to see every month what your employer is officially reporting as your monthly income and how much taxes they're paying. Okay, so as I said, I was getting every month like 30,000. And then on the tax app, my company was reporting like 8,000 RMB a month income and paying zero taxes. And they were doing this for the whole year. Okay. And a lot of like foreigners are like, oh yeah, well you're the one who's supposed to report your income to the tax bureau, whatever. And so when you fix this, they're gonna ask you to pay the taxes. No, no. Again, I'm not gonna get into all the foreign expats here and their ideas about what withholding tax is and who's responsible for paying it. These are the facts. Okay, I mean you can look up withholding tax and who pays it yourself. But yeah, so what happens is I reported the monthly bank statements proving my income and the contract to the tax app reporting system. So on the app, there's a reporting section, and you can say there's discrepancy, and then you can upload your bank statements and your contract, and they'll fix it. So your income, instead of showing 8,000 a month, will go to the 30,000 you were actually earning, and the below that will show like how much your company should pay in taxes, and then they owe that. Your company owes that. Okay. Especially with me because in my contract it says after tax, but most contracts don't say after tax. So they were really on the hook for the withholding tax. Um, yeah, and then if you don't trust me and my experience and what happened that I don't owe any withholding tax in this situation, you can call 12366. Again, these government numbers, if you call this number, you'll get your local one. So I was in Shanghai and I was trying to call Guangdong because this was about a Shaoguan company, a city in Guangdong. So I had to call the Guangzhou one. So the area code for Guangzhou is 020, Shanghai 021, Beijing 1010. And I did all this like yesterday. So actually I recorded it. I was in a very um, spontaneous mood because I've been trying to like basically see how the company was punished. So like this kind of tax fraud, when a company does this, there should be a penalty. These penalties by the government, by the tax bureau against the company should be public information. Should be a website showing that they're being punished. and it should also be reported to the police under criminal law. I'll explain this later. But anyway, I was making this video yesterday because I was in the process of calling like 12366 in Guangdong and Shanghai and in Beijing because the negative corruption of the tax bureau of Shaoguan was pretty evident to me. So again, negative corruption. They're supposed to do something, and in this case, they're supposed to punish um, the company for the tax fraud, and instead they're just going spinning wheels in circles. So like I was talking to this tax person, and that was Monday, so it's just like started Monday. I called her on Monday with my interpreter, and I explained to her already, like my taxes are fixed. I reported this tax fraud 2 years ago. I just want to know how the company was punished. Okay, that's what I'm asking. And she was like, send me the contract and related bank statements. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Here it is again. I already did this on the tax app. So here's the tax app. I won't zoom in because I did it on this video as I was doing this and explaining all what I'm explaining now. And I don't want to edit this video and blur out. I don't know how to do that on Adobe Premiere yet, so I just want to make these videos and upload them directly and simplify it. So anyway, here's the tax app like reporting section. Here's like all the bank statements. Anyway, I'm sending it again to this tax bureau person who I already spoke to and explained and okay. So like I said, my salary was like 10K, 8K. They were reporting and paying no withholding tax. And like I'm basically saying this is tax fraud. And the way they did this tax fraud, so I worked at a school at Shaoguan in Wujiang district, okay? But my actual contract and the people who were paying me were actually an agency located in a different district. And I'm going to keep mentioning this in every video because I keep coming across this problem. These jurisdictional problems and bureaucracy is ridiculous. You know, it's just every single time I'm dealing with an authority, it's like, oh, it's that district, but it's interconnected with district. But how do we, persecute? How do we deal? Who's responsible? Which authority's responsible? It's just so frustrating. Anyway, so I'm explaining like what this agency in this district must have done is that they forged my signature on a work permit application form because I sent the original work permit application form for foreigners to get the work permit card, and you have to put your official salary. And when I signed it, it said 32,000, and then on the work permit system it says the official income is like 12,000. Okay, the only way they did this is if this company printed out another work permit application form, another contract, and changed the salary from 32 to 12,000. Okay, and I'm basically saying at the very end of all this, like, I know they're doing this for the other foreign teachers, and I expect the tax bureau to report this fraud and contract fraud, work permit fraud to the police, and that the company be criminally investigated for the tax fraud and administratively punished for the contract fraud and work permit fraud. Okay, all on your screen. All right. A day goes by, and then yesterday, she sends me this. She's like, actually, we can see that in February 2023 it was corrected. And I'm like, just instantly, because I already talked to her with my interpreter that I hired on Monday, and I said it's not about correcting my taxes. I already told her Wujiang District Tax Bureau corrected my taxes already when I reported it on the tax app. I want to know what the punishment is. I want to know they're being punished. So I got pissed. That's when I made this this hour and 20-minute video because I was then like furiously calling 12366. Because anyway, I'll get into that. So this is what I said. I want to know what the punishment will be. And after yesterday calling 12366, there is a website that publishes the punishments against companies doing stuff like this. And I'll share this later. And I mentioned also that this should be criminally investigated. And I even linked her the article of law. Now, you can read this. I'm actually missing a paragraph here, so I'll show you the criminal law, okay? This is criminal law article 201. 201. Okay. So here's where my company should be investigated under criminal law, this article. Where a withholding agent, so that means where the company, using the means mentioned in this paragraph, meaning failing to pay taxes by forging, altering, account books or, incomes. So if a company is doing any of these bad things, and the amount is 10% of the total taxes payable, or is over 10,000 RMB, then you get punished according to these punishments. And the punishments are like, prison, stuff like that, or big fines, okay? Whatever. Anyway, so that's what I'm telling this person from the Zhenjiang Tax Bureau how to do their job. What is going on? Oh, is this Adobe saying... Okay, I'm just going to exit because I don't know why that popped up. Anyway, I was pissed off yesterday when I sent this to her. I'm like, if you guys continue to show how stupid you are, which is this word incompetence, or your laziness, whatever corruption it is, and not punish these companies, I'm going to go to higher authorities to report you. And that's what I was doing right after I sent this, because I responded immediately, right? Like 6 minutes after, and she ignored me. And I'm used to this because she's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to respond. I don't know, So I immediately I just started calling 12366. And I got into the whole tax reporting thing. All right. So, reporting this tax fraud, the tax app will fix it. You show them your income, bank statements, and your contract. They'll fix them, and then they'll tell the company that they need to pay what they should have paid in tax. You're withholding taxes, okay? And I this is 12367. No. 66. Yeah, this is tax. No, this is this one. Okay. So yeah, on October 21st, I called, and that's what they were telling me, that the tax app will automatically tell the company by a certain date that they need to pay your missing withholding tax. And that there'll be a automatic punishment, like a fine or something like that. And I was telling the guy on the phone, that's not good enough because they were doing this on purpose by forging, foreign employees' documents, okay? And they were doing this not just for me, but other foreigners, and that the agency has other schools that they outsource foreign teachers to. So this is in the millions of RMB because they've been doing this for years. Probably they haven't been paying taxes. So yeah, basically I was telling the guy I need to see what the punishment is, and if they got reported to the police to be investigated, and where that investigation ended up, because it's been more than 2 years, right? So yeah, so I did that on October 1st, call 12366, and they were like, okay, well, we're Shanghai, you gotta call the Guangdong one, or you can go on the website. So here's the Guangdong Tax Bureau website. Okay, so this is what I did, and I put the pictures, screenshots of what I did. So here's the address. You click this button, it'll send you to this page. You click this button. Okay, I think you need to register an account, so you need a Chinese phone number so that you can receive a text message to authenticate your account. So after you click there, you'll get to the actual reporting instructions. It'll even give you the local phone numbers for each of the cities in the province of Guangdong, so you can call also directly. It looks like that's the fax number. So this is the fax number, and this is the phone number. Anyway, you don't have to call them. Um, you can report by phone too, apparently, according to this. So anyway, you click I want to report. You get to this page, you fill it out. Okay. If you want to know how you can translate this page, basically you got to get this extension, so you can right click, show original or translate. So that's all helpful. And then again, if you haven't watched my other video I just posted today, you can use AI here, and it's much better than Google Translate. Okay. Um, So yeah, basically you get to this page, you fill in your information, you fill in the company you're reporting about. So here I filled it in, um, submit it, and it'll generate your file number of this complaint. And then you'll also get a text message with that file number as well. Okay. And then I think I even and oh yeah, and then I added a picture because when I reported, I think you can only put one name of the company, but I took a screenshot of when I sued them in labor court because there's two companies involved. Like I said, the work permit and the residence visa are under the school in Wujiang district. And then my contract and the people who were paying me was with this other company in Zhenjiang district. So that's why I put that up here and I explained it in the report. So yeah, that's what I did November 4th. And then what happened next? Let's see. Um, yeah, I got a call from someone in Shaoguan. Okay, because apparently when you report on the website, you got to put the district, the city it's in, and or they reported it to the district, and then so the local tax bureau calls you. So that's what happened to me. The local tax bureau called me, speaking Chinese. Even though I'm certain that I wrote, text me in Chinese, email me in Chinese, write to me in Chinese, but do not call me and speak Chinese. You can only call me if you speak English. So, yeah. I then have my friend call that person and tell them to communicate either in English or write written Chinese. Um, Again, they call me speaking Chinese. Oh, jeez, just like, are they really this incompetent? Like, is there really no foresight? And so what did I do? November 5th. Yeah, okay, this is a cool thing. Guangzhou Interpreter Hotline. Amazing. I'm gonna actually put this in the notepad. Um, Guangzhou, just for this reason, is light years ahead of living for foreigners than Shanghai or Beijing. Um, anyway, let's edit this notepad a little bit. So reporting the tax app Guangdong China Tax.gov. Okay. All right. So yeah, I was like really angry at this stupid Shaoguan tax bureau person for obviously not reading my complaint saying you need to talk to me in English or communicate writtenly in Chinese, even after my friend called them back and explained it, and they still call me in Chinese. So I was pissed off and I was like, all right, I'm tired of this stupid game they're playing because I think they're playing stupid. They call and then in their system they write, okay, I called this person, they didn't pick up, so I did my job. Uh, that's how I feel like they're working. So I called the interpreter hotline, and basically this is a hotline you can call and they'll speak English. They'll do live interpretation services for you free of charge. You don't have to pay for it. You call them and you're like, can you please call 12366 and add them to this phone call? And they'll do it and they'll communicate, they'll translate for you in interpret for you in live. So that's what I did. I called them and I basically told them to tell 12366 that Shaoguan is being stupid and that they need to call me in English if they want to call me, or they need to write or text me or add my WeChat or whatever. And then 3 weeks go by, and finally, the Shaoguan person calls me. This person calls me on Monday. Who she doesn't speak Chinese. She doesn't speak English. At the time, I had my interpreter with me by coincidence. So great for her. And we communicated and she added my WeChat. So that was great. By the way, I had that recording too, because like I was, so that was the 25th. Yeah. Yeah. So I was with my interpreter
Started the case started to
and
be
I was calling a bunch of numbers because like Shanghai court systems, and Shanghai in general, like I said, does not have like a free interpreter system for English, whatever, and there's no way to speak to anyone in English. You need an interpreter for everyone. They're so bureaucratically backwards, and they're so resistant to speaking English or adding your WeChat or communicating through writing. It's frustrating beyond belief. And then Guangzhou has this, and it's amazing. But Shanghai doesn't. Amazing. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, getting off track. How long is this video now? Ranting for 30 minutes. God damn. All right. Let me take a breath here. Should just tell you what to do, how to report, but I'm not just sharing my experience a little bit too much in detail. All right. So then, yes, or 2 days ago, or yesterday was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I got frustrated with this Shaoguan Tax Bureau person, and I told her I'm gonna make a video. Like I'm tired of this shit. And we're in the verification stage. We'll continue to follow up. Yeah, well, where were you 2 years ago? According to your own system, and I reported it October 2022. They only fixed it in February 2023. It's November 2024, guys. What are we doing? So I have zero expectation they're going to do anything. So I'm just going to hire authority. So I called Shanghai about my situation. And they call me back and they're like, call Beijing and use the Beijing website. And then I call Beijing and Beijing doesn't speak English. So it's Beijing is worse than Shanghai. So the number 12366 in Shanghai, there's an English option. Beijing doesn't even have that option. Or they do. Sorry, no, they do, but the person on the other side for that option doesn't speak really decent English at all. Okay, so they call me back with someone who speaks a little bit better English, and they do this while I was making my video yesterday, while I was making this uh, hour and a half video. It was all live. It was brilliant, but I don't want to show this video because I was showing a lot of personal information on my screen, and like I said, I don't want to spend the time right now to edit all the personal information out. So I'm doing this video again. And they basically said like there's no way they can do anything. They're just like the local Beijing tax bureau. There's no like national tax bureau of all of China. There is kind of where I'm figuring it out. Um, okay, so there is this website. Okay, but this website will lead you to the province tax bureau. So I went in a circle, you know. Um, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, especially because like in Canada, I'm just comparing. I'm not saying it's better or worse in Canada, but in this situation with this anti-corruption policy China's following, um, my professional recommendation is that you centralize the tax bureau because you have all these districts with their own individual tax bureaus. And I'm sure it's great for ensuring full employment in those districts, but these districts authorities are probably colluding with all these companies doing this tax fraud and not getting punished and all that. You need someone like in Canada, we have a city, Sudbury, middle of nowhere. That's where the tax bureau for all of Canada is located, to minimize the chances of corruption. So it's frustrating. But we did get some progress because there's two things I wanted to know. Number one, where is the public website that shows the punishments companies get? Uh, Turn on VPN. Okay, so there it is. So this is the publication board on major tax violations and untrustworthy subjects. And I typed in the names of the companies I worked for that I expected to be punished, and nothing came up. I also put just their addresses too, and nothing came up. So I know for a fact that these people who did this tax fraud, these companies, were not punished, and 100% were not reported to the police either, I bet. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, and then let's look at the national website. Hold on. Okay, show original, translating. So, in order to punish serious tax violations, blah blah blah, and whatever, then it directs you to the province. So, like I said, I go in a big circle because this is where I started, and that's where I made the report. So, the question I have now is. All right, well, let me add this information. Okay, so the question I have now is basically when the local tax bureau is not doing or enforcing their laws and regulations, who do you report them to? Okay, and that's the question I'm at because I am 100% certain that this person's not going to do anything because the last person didn't do anything. And the only threat I can make against them is that I can report to other authorities. But I reported to the other authorities, and all the other authorities are just like them. They're local tax bureaus. Um, yeah, it's frustrating. So don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point. There is this theoretical um, CCDI. All right. Now I just recently was trying to report from this institution in Jing'an, but like even if I type in my name in English, it says it's Chinese characters only, and also it says like I found this interesting, kind of funny. Translate, come on. You can, what's your political outlook? The masses, I guess I am, but I'm a foreigner. There's no foreign option. And then like level. So, I mean, this is I think from 2019 or 2009. So this is a new institution, part of like the current government administrations, like anti-corruption policies. I mean, the other day in the news, there was this guy, Bank of China, who was sentenced to death for corruption. Cool, by the way. Thumbs up. I wish Western corporate elites ever got anything close to even a prison sentence, much less sentenced to death. I think he was sentenced over $18 million bribe to give out loans, something like that. Anyway, um, yeah, so point of this whole video was reporting tax fraud. So what did we talk about? We talked about, in general, what is withholding tax, how it functions, how it works in China with the tax app, and then my experience, and basically then trying to follow up with the tax authorities to see how or if they were punished, and getting the runaround, and yeah, getting this goddamn motivated worker. So yeah, and then now the question is like, okay, well, who do you report authorities? What authorities do you report other authorities to? And CCDI, I don't think is the right one. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, that's been my tax experience in China, where they were reporting, and like I said, this is criminal because the amount is not even small. So like my other employers, when I was making, like, I remember when I was in Shenzhen working, I was making it's like 35,000, and then the taxes on that I think was like 5,500. Okay, so for the 32,000, yeah, at least 4,000. I should check my tax app how much they fixed it to pay, but it also doesn't make sense to me because like I think it was 2,500 on 32,000 that my company should have been paying, and they eventually did because that's what it shows now. But criminal law says if you don't pay taxes of 10,000 RMB, you're then prosecuted according to the penalties in the preceding paragraph, Article 201 of the criminal law. So if we look at just myself in a year, I think it was, 12 months. No, what's this? This is how much, according to Wu Jiang um, department, said my company should have paid and did pay eventually. 30,000. So that's how much they were trying to steal from the government. And then I know they were doing this for all the other foreign workers at that school. And then I know that they have other foreign workers in other cities in Guangdong. So and they were doing this probably for years, like who knows how long they were doing this. So at the very minimum, they were stealing 120,000 RMB from the government in taxes. And at the high end, probably in the millions, if you factor in other schools, teachers operating for many years. Yeah. So it should be reported to the police. And I'm telling this person, so like you either explain to me these companies why they're not being punished or you investigated, or you investigate and punish them. Um, I'm trying to go by the law, and I'm seeing that the authorities are not enforcing it when it's reported to them. So that's the end of this video. I know it's been a little bit of rambling and stuff like that. But basically, yeah. What else can I say here? It's been 40 minutes. Oh my God. Well, if you're still listening to me, thank you for your interest. I'm glad I'm not the only person interested in this kind of stuff. And yeah, stay tuned to my next video. I think the next video I'm going to make today is about reporting illegal workers. So I'm going to get on that one.